Hey everybody, my name is Barry Johnson. This is Studio Talk, and I welcome you back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about a particular gear manufacturer that I've quite frankly fallen in love with over the last couple of years. Now, I will say this out of the gate before I get started into it. The stuff they make is pricey. It ain't cheap, okay? And it's not for everyone. Let me say that first. It is not for everyone because it's not cheap. And I'll be honest with you, there's probably other alternatives in the video world that do similar things that are probably less expensive. But the reason I invest in Triad-orbit, who's what I'm talking about today, is because they can easily transition back and forth between audio and video, and I'll explain what that means in just a minute. Now, today I happened to get, let me bend over down here, a couple of new pieces in the mail today. Now, this one is an 8-inch extension, okay? And so this is an extension rod that's used back right now on a light that's back over there on the wall. You can't see it. It's beside that Hamer guitar back there. And the difference between an extension, which is just an extension, versus a particular boom mic style where you can loosen it up and extend it or retract it however you want, is if you're putting something super heavy on those pieces, and I'll show you an example of that in a second, but if you put something super heavy on those pieces and it's got to lean one way or the other against gravity or whatever, it's going to cause you just can't get that tight enough in there to stop that inner barrel from twisting inside and ultimately leaning over and floating downwards because of gravity. So that's where an extension comes into play because it cannot move. That's super, super, super important. So in one of those situations, we've also got some pieces. Let's see here. You know, you've got, that's not what I meant to grab. Of course, everything I want is underneath everything else. You know, this particular piece right here, you know, this is meant for, as you can see, you can get a 360 around like that and get it locked in and just tighten it up. This is fine for like mics and things like that. But you try to put a camera or a light or something like that, and this is just not going to have the strength to hold that down. Now, back on the one back there, let me show you. I've got some smaller pieces. This is actually a top to a piece that goes on top of a boom stand or something like that to give you flexibility. This is the one they show in their ads where you can go in and mic a snare bottom and a snare top all with the same stand or whatever. Now, this one just broke on me the other day, and I've been using these things like crazy. See, this won't tighten down. Now, once you buy these pieces, whether it's any of their pieces, if you register them, you have a warranty for 3 years. So they're sending me a replacement one of these to take care of that. That's the kind of company they are. But anyway, you can see these heavy duty, these ones that are heavy, heavy duty, right? They're much bigger than, oh, didn't mean to drop that. These are much bigger here, these handles, and these itty bitty ones right there, as you can see, right? They're much, so you can actually get in there and tighten these things down. Now that'll work for most things, but even if it gets really, really heavy, that's where you're going to run into a problem. Hence the reason I ordered, hang on, sorry to go in and out of frame so much, but that's the way this video is going to be. But I got this in today because I was having that problem. Like, I have a huge 36-inch light dome that's really right above my head. It's giving all the lights, what's causing all this non-hair on top of my hair to go kind of get bright. And I've got that cranked down with one of those big pieces like I showed you before. And that's a lot of weight. So they recently came out with these pieces here, which I just got today, and I've already put on one piece back over there, and then I'll replace this up there. What this gives you is the ability, I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, there we go. Okay. You can see those teeth in there, right? So as if I move that and then I go to, hang on, tighten that down, it's going to grip those teeth. So it cannot move. It's locked in there. Once it's in there, it can't bend down, taking away that problem that I talked about before. You know, and then you can, of course, just pop that in and out of there. Now, if you need to twist that around or something, like you need to go a different direction with it or something, that's what this is for right here. Tighten that down, then that no longer turns. Now, almost every one of their pieces ship with one of these, even though it may not be applicable to the piece you're buying. And what this does is it's for a microphone, right? So if you want to have some of your microphones or the mic holder, I should say, and the mic clip, you can keep these screwed into the bottom of it at all times. This is an American size microphone clip screw size, and this is a European size. So you get both of them in there if you need to. And to show you a perfect example of what that looks like is you've got this particular shotgun microphone here that is mounted on, that you can see where I've got that screwed into there, okay? So hang on a second. This is probably, it's in there tight, so hang on, let's do this. We'll use that to loosen it up a little bit, okay? So now you can see whether that is, that's really screwed in tight there, right? Come on, get in focus. I guess my hand's taking it out. So anyway, there you go there, right? So you just screw that bad boy in. You pull this little lip back here. Pull that back there, and then that goes into there. There, you put that in wherever you want. Now, obviously, this is not a heavy mic, so you don't need to worry about this going forward or slipping or going in a different angle. It's a super light mic, which one of the other pieces that I showed you before will do that just fine. And when I say one of the other pieces, I mean one like that one, like I showed you before with the smaller. That's more than enough to handle something lightweight like this, okay? So I also, as you can see, they also come with pieces on the end, just like this one here. So this is a little small boom stand, and this is what I use for the microphone when I'm back over there, okay? And as you can see here, I've got it to where I've got this end on here. So this is just this end piece right here, just screws on the end of the boom stand. It's kind of the reverse of the other. And that way you can convert any traditional mic stand or mic style mount to any one that you want. Then you could pull this one back in here as an example and put that in there, and you're golden, right? Golden. That's not how you'd want to do it, but you understand what I'm saying. Now, for some pretty cool ways, or eclectic ways of finding uses to this, all right? One of the problems I have when I film back over there, is oftentimes trying to find the right placement of the camera without having to move my monitors and everything else and get that particular frame right. In other words, what I want in the picture when you watch this really ugly face. So then finally I had one brain fart one day. I said, oh man, I've got this stuff here. I know how to solve this problem. So then I did this. Now this is a beautiful piece of zebra wood. I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Unfinished, and he sanded it down. It's just out in the garage. But you've got these wall plates that I just mounted at the top of this so that you can take things off the wall. So now when I want to have my camera set up, as you can see, this is my Canon EOS R. I'm filming this right now on a Sony a7 III. And you can see from there, boom, that just pops right out of there. Okay, that gets screwed into the bottom. Do it like this so you can see me kind of do it. Locked in there, okay? Now I got my camera on that. So now I can film away. Now, I've also got a light back there. Okay, this is meant to sit on top of a mic stand, so in case you need to go 3 different directions with things for different type of applications, this piece right here, hang on a second, see that pulls out of there. And this is kind of the reverse. This is made for what you call a Versa mount. I'm going to show you a picture behind the monitor that I have showing what's on the camera back there, where you see I've got one of these mounted to a mic stand, and then that just goes into the back of the monitor. And so anyway, you take something like this that you can also screw in and add another one over there if you want to. There's another hole right there, if you can see that. I don't know why it's not focusing. There it goes. There it is. All right. So anyway, you can go a lot of different directions and do a lot of different things. So depending on what I need to do in a situation over there, I just needed to be able to go straight up because I didn't have a big enough extension. And I've got a little 8-inch LED light that, I guess I don't need to put this back on there now, but I'm going to anyway, right? One little cool feature, let me show you that. See if I can get that up in there and get it to focus right. Okay, now let's see if I can turn that around. There's a couple of pins. See that pin right there and that pin right there? Okay. You've also got these locking holes at the end of it. And what that does is those pins go down into there. And then once that's on there, it stops it from being able to turn no matter what. So it's kind of a backup mechanism to the internal locking part in there. So that's another really cool thing. So that's not how I had that done. I wanted that done like this. And that way I needed a bigger extension. So I just came out of this extension. I had that LED light over there that lights my face when I'm on that side over there, because I don't want to move this big 36-inch light I've got up there. And you've also got another couple cool things down here. One, this is a smaller version. Now, talk about handy. Oh my gosh, this is so handy right now. You know, you obviously can go around a pipe or a mic stand or something like that, and then screw that down, and that keeps a nice, good, solid grip on there. This is good for reasonably heavy weight, maybe a couple pounds. I've got one back over there that can hold like 20, 30 pounds, no problem. It's what's holding that boom mic that's above my head right there. And then another attachment you can get, and this is for an iPad, or you can shrink it down and put an iPhone in there, depending on what you want to do. So sometimes if I'm just shooting something and I want to get a piece of gear over there, oftentimes I'll just put one of these up, put my iPhone in there, and then shoot the VU meters or something like that on the gear if I'm doing a gear demo or something like that. But obviously you can see here where that just goes in there like so, right? And this is a different kind of dial. Here you can see this has got a little bit longer extension, giving you the greater flexibility of moving that around. And you can see how that one works. That's a little bit different, all right? And so see that there? Pretty darn cool. So again, like I said, I have a lot of uses for this gear. It is built like a tank. Even this one piece here that busted, and this is historically has been my most used piece, more than anything, holding up and having to support incredibly heavy things. And so I've had this for years now, and the fact that this broke on me is not the end of the world to me. I'll pop that off, take it out, replace that internal mechanism. Bam, I'm good to go. So this stuff is built like a tank. Even though I've got a broken one here, they are replacing it for free. All right, so that's something to kind of keep in mind. Now, they have lots more options. Now, the only critical thing, I guess there's 2 points of criticism that I'll give triad-orbit. The first one is to the company. You really need to get users' inputs about how they're finding the various uses for this and adapt that into how you explain it, because you don't do a great job of explaining exactly what each piece is for, what to use it on, and what not to use it on. Because I ended up buying pieces thinking they would be perfectly fine, and they ultimately could not do the job simply because had they really worded it better and really truly explained its limitations, as well as gave better examples of its traditional uses, not just somebody going into a photography studio somewhere and just starting randomly putting things together so it looks cool. Well, that oftentimes is not how it's going to be used in the real world. Now, so that's my criticism. You guys need to do a much better job of really describing what each piece does. I think that'll be very helpful to the end user. Now, my second criticism, and you could debate whether this is a fair criticism or not, this stuff ain't cheap, okay? It's expensive to go down this rabbit hole. And it's really designed for a one-man show kind of thing. I mean, there's no way in the world, if I'm out and I'm playing in gigs and playing out in clubs and things like that, there is no freaking way I'm investing all this money to mic drums and do things like that. That is not happening. But in the studio, I think honestly where I get the most use, because I use this stuff every single day. There is not a day I come into this studio, especially if I'm shooting video, that I'm not adjusting something, moving something, or tweaking something on one of my triad-orbit pieces, okay? I've got a piece mounted on the wall over there that you can't see because it's out of frame. So I've had multi-use for that. Right now, I've got one of those new pieces where it can't twist and turn. The teeth kind of lock in and hold it up, where I've got that LED light, and it's right back over there. You can kind of see my finger where it's starting to hit my finger. That light is coming down on the back of my head. And so that is coming off of a wall mount. Okay, so what else do I use that wall mount other than that? Well, I happen to have a Midi keyboard, which you can see a little bit right there. And then right above that, I have an external monitor that's right there looking at me. It's showing what you guys are looking at so I can look at myself, see if I'm in focus and everything like that. Well, sometimes I need a second monitor whenever I'm playing something on the keyboard. So I'll just pop this off this mic stand because the back of it is a Versa mount with a triad-orbit adapter on the back, and I'll go over there and I'll just snag it in right on the wall, and now I've got a monitor on that wall right there, right above my keyboard, okay? Now, I could go on and on and on about the various ways I use it. I even have a Manfrotto tripod that I'm looking at right now that the camera's mounted on, and what's holding, and I'm going to show you a comment, I'm going to show you a picture of it right now, so you can see the various pieces that are connected to that tripod camera that are holding the shotgun microphone that's pointed down right towards my mouth, right? And so that is actually held on by the grip piece. On the side of the tripod, I've actually got some adapters in there where I can have an input and an output, let's just a male and female, I guess, triad-orbit adapter. Whereas if I need to connect other things without a grip to that, I can, AKA the audio right now. My little top piece is coming off of this. You'd think with all this stuff in here, I'd be recording everything through Pro Tools, but honestly, it's just easier going through this Zoom F6, which is a fantastic field recorder that for the life of me, I cannot. There we go. Get it. I can get it in focus now. You can see my my meters running right now while I'm recording. I'm 16 minutes into this, telling me I'm getting way too long-winded. But anyway, I've got a camera screw mount on back there that I could take the other mount to, like I did with the camera down there, and I can just mount this straight to the side of the tripod when I'm doing remote location video. I like to keep it away from it so I can sit here and hold it up like this and adjust my levels while I'm talking and that kind of thing. So talk about built like a tank. These things are built like a tank. This thing has been dropped a gazillion freaking times out in filthy sand, on rocks, everything you can imagine. Things built like a truck, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, those are the only couple criticisms I've got. You know, do a better job of explaining it, triad-orbit. And then, you know, pay attention to your users. Have them submit some ideas to you so you can get various ways of doing things. I think that could help you a lot in the marketing of this stuff. And if there's any way you could bring down that price, that'd be fantastic. I have to tell you, that'd be fantastic. So if you like the videos I make, get that like, subscribe, that notification bell down below. I encourage you strongly. And this is my little sale. Okay, I'm getting cheesy. Go back and watch some of my other videos. Go check them out. I have videos that cover the gamut. I have some where I do these big rants and I complain against companies and saying, get your act in gear and do a better job of taking care of guys like me and you, as well as give you some insight into some other things and some experiences that I've gained along the way on my journey. So until next time, I hope you have a triad-orbit. Clamp that bad boy down. Stew it any way you want. Angle it wherever you want kind of day. Bye. That means leave. No, really. Go away.